Sometimes people make a war, don't know what it's for.
Skammen, released in 1968, is the fourth Ingmar Bergman film I've seen so far, and it's every bit as good as Bergman's 1957 classic The Seventh Seal, perhaps even better. Skammen, which translates to The Shame in English, follows Jon and Eva, played by Bergman regulars Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann, a married couple living in rural Sweden during an unspecified time and place. Their peaceful existence is disrupted and finally broken beyond repair with the outbreak of war, and this film, like Apocalypse Now, Paths of Glory, Full Metal Jacket, and many other anti-war movies, shows in a very intimate, personal way how war can corrupt good people and turn human values into a travesty.
They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
The opening credits immediately set the tone of the film, consisting of a garbled stream of military recordings. The fact that I don't understand Swedish or any other foreign language actually makes the opening more effective, as it heightens the perception of war as something far away that Jon and Eva don't fully understand, and yet is still ominous and threatening. Skammen continues Bergman's use of remarkably naturalistic dialogue and performances. Von Sydow and Ullmann's chemistry together is so gentle and touching early on, and is one of the most realistic on-screen romances I've seen, as their tenderness and adoration coexists at times with a frustration and impatience that is present in nearly every relationship to some degree. Sometimes you put up with your partner's flaws because you love him or her so much, and Jon and Eva's minor annoyances, such as his oversensitivity and absent-mindedness, and her occasional irritability, make the good parts all the more wonderful. Furthermore, this beautiful, very convincing relationship presented early on generates an intense feeling of sadness and regret as it sours and deteriorates throughout the film. For an anti-war film, Skammen shows very little armed combat. The enemy is never explicitly identified and doesn't look very German, and though the film evidently takes place in Sweden during the mid-20th century, Jon and Eva and the viewer are kept largely ignorant of what's happening due to their broken radio and phone. Skammen is more concerned about the rippling effect of war on the home front. As war arrives at their town, Jon and Eva become more stressed and bitter and short-tempered toward each other as a result. The local government becomes callous, brutal, and authoritarian, intimidating and beating innocent people into compliance with their war effort. They even harass Jon and Eva for a video that they know is fake. I wonder if this might be a commentary on the communist scares and witch hunts during the McCarthy era of American politics. Colonel Jacobi, Gunnar Bjornstrand, an old friend of Jon and Eva, is complicit in this unjust treatment of the people and abuses his authority to force himself into their household and seduce Eva. The couple must tolerate this because Jacobi has the power to send them to a concentration camp if he wishes. Finally, after the bombs blast their house, the town is set ablaze, and they are left with almost nothing by their own side. Jon discards all care and respect for Eva, and is concerned only with survival, which he is willing to lie, steal, and even murder to achieve. Their relationship is over, as symbolized by Jon's broken violin, which refers back to how they met as musicians. However, they stay together because they don't know any other way of life, and Eva's declaration that, when the war is over, we will definitely split up, is sadly accurate, as there appears to be no end in sight for the war. Therefore, they are stuck together as their marriage and the world destroy themselves. Launching off from its beautiful beginnings, Skammen is driven by a gripping, riveting sense of escalation and, I think it's fair to say, dread, as the internal conflict of Jon and Eva's marriage and the external conflict of the war become steadily worse and more dire. The dialogue and acting are excellent throughout, and, as a character-based movie, Skammen is skillfully paced in such a way that it conveys growing chaos and strife in the quiet stretches between the short moments of war. Like the procession of flagellants and Antonius's chess game with death in The Seventh Seal, Skammen also has gorgeous cinematography and a couple of images that will stick with you for a long time. such as the burning village, Ava mourning a dead child, and the group of dead soldiers floating in the ocean. The only things I don't like about Skammen are this cut and the ending. As Ava lay in the bottom of a boat adrift in the sea, she describes a dream she had of her, Jon, and their hypothetical daughter walking down a city street, followed by a plane bombing and setting fire to some rose bushes. This beautiful destruction is a nice little metaphor for the entire film, but then the film just stops. I just think it's too abrupt when the MGM lion suddenly... Otherwise, Skammen is an outstanding film. It's one of the best films I've seen in a long time. Skammen earns 4.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.